Yo, y'all. This is Flow Substance, and we bring it to you in an abundance. I am Dave Balmain. I'm here with my boy E, aka Earl. Say what up to the people.
It's Earl Day Cool. How y'all doing, aka E? Call me that for short. We here. Happy Juneteenth, and also Happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day, happy Juneteenth, and we're gonna have a good episode today. So starting off right now, we're gonna start off with Morehouse and the president hiring a chief executive who is a Caucasian woman. And to give you the background on Morehouse, Morehouse is HBCU, historical Black college university, and it's for males only. You have to be a male at least.
Yep. It's all boys school, all men's school. Yep.
And it is for African American or Black males. And the problem that I would say that we both have with this, because I'm pretty sure we're in agreement with this, is the fact that, you know, we don't want the culture to be changed. We don't want them to switch anything up. We want it to stay like, I'm all right with them bringing in diversity and maybe having a couple, but as long as they're still teaching the culture, they're still teaching those Africana student studies and stuff like that for them, then I'm fine, because if that's the case, it turns into a PWI, a predominantly white institution.
Yeah, man. And I don't want our history to get lost from gentrification, man. I mean, It's happening all across the country. Black spaces are being invaded by outside races and ethnicities, and they're changing the curriculum or changing the space to be more comfortable for those invading counterparts versus us. When you have a Caucasian white woman, this is an all-male school, one, you know what I'm saying? And two, this is a Black space where we thought was for us to invest in Black bodies from the administration point to the students. When you put a white woman here, is it for the purpose to advance Black males, or is it for the purpose to get outside races to come to our school? Which is not a problem. I understand that. But at the same aspect, bro, because this is supposed to be a safe Black space to invest in Black young men, you know what I'm saying, to further their lifestyle. What is the purpose of this? You feel me? And what we saw in the fucking president, the president said, to get international students. And I'm like, international?
Right. It's like,
what the hell does that mean?
I'm like, what do you mean? I was thinking, like, did he mean like Black international? Because, you know, of course, there's Black people in Germany, there's Black people in London. So I'm like, do you mean like the Africans, or like what do you mean by international? International can mean a lot of things. So it's like, okay, but like I said, when I was telling you earlier, like, you could hire her as a contractor and to do what she does. She doesn't have to be the chief executive, anything. You put her in a position she don't even need to be in. She could be a contractor. He doubling down on it, repeated, because people are like boycotting and really are against it, but he's doubling down like she's qualified. Like, that's fine. If she's qualified, of course she's qualified. You wouldn't be able to hire her if she wasn't qualified. But the point is, does she really understand what it means to be going to Morehouse? Does she know the culture, the background? Which we don't believe she does, because it's not just taking a class and be able to notice things and think you understand them. You have to see it in the forefront. You have to actually witness these things. You have to really try to feel these things. So I don't really feel like she should be in that position. The president does for some reason, but hopefully it don't change it up and be 50-50, because the person I learned about it, he believes it's going to be historical Black college university, because in history, that's what it was. But as far as the people that be currently going there, it might be 50-50, whereas you see Black people, a good amount of Black people, but then there's 50% that's not Black. There's Asians and, you know, white and Hispanic, which is, you know, like I said, we don't have the biggest problem.
It's still an educational center, like, no doubt.
We don't want it flushed out, though. We just don't want it flushed out, and the culture be snuffed out completely.
But and if you look at the funding of HBCUs, it's well underfunded compared to PWIs, which is predominantly white institutions. So if we're not saying keep Black, but make sure our culture isn't washed out, isn't put to the back fold to appeal to some certain demographic. And I'm looking at Paula Resley, is that her name?
Yeah, it's like something like that. I haven't heard it been pronounced, but it looks like that's how it's spelled.
So I'm looking, she's the Chief Brand Officer and Vice President of Strategic Communications, Marketing, and Admissions. So that means that is literally meaning she's going to be invested on who gets accepted to the school.
Yeah, a big part of it, she get to kind of pick and choose. And so it's like, She might be like, well, he's qualified, but he's white. And
That's geared marketing. Like, what do you? So it's like, are you going to change it for to offer young black males, so you'll offer any male the opportunity to? I'm like, okay, I get it, bro. Yes, it is
right.
a university, and it is accredited. But at the same time, this was built for young black men who are been one of the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, man.
Yeah, but I'm like, fucking. It the black male in America is one of the most polarized, negative, fucking viewed images in America. You know what I'm saying? You have people that have put us on news outlets to say we're one of the most violent fucking citizens in America. We're juveniles, we're threats, we've been persecuted as violent thugs, and all of these things and the like. If you are trying to ruin that, then you're gonna fucking piss me off, because it's like, this is to show that black men can be more than what the world tells, at least America's involved, tells them that they are. They are subhuman, they're primal, they're violent, they're gangsters, they're thugs, they're juveniles, they're delinquents. If you're not invested in that, then you could kiss my ass, because it's like, if you're just trying to get non-traditional students here, which is, like I said, there's no problem with that. But let's not act like what this space wasn't built for. This space was built to show young black men you can be better than what they tell you you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're not investing in that, then you're not F.O.S, and you need to resign now. I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. When the president said international and shit, that shit kind of irked me. I was like, what do you mean?
Like, what do you mean? And then to give y'all a history of Morehouse, like, we had Martin Luther King go there, we had Spike Lee, we had Samuel Jackson, and that just give you kind of like what we expect from Morehouse and the people who have came before the people who are currently go there. And it just shows you like that's the standard. So we don't want it to be ruined because they hired the wrong person in the wrong position and thought that it was the right move, and then all our black history of college from there is gone, or just in general from the other ones. So it's just a matter of we just being concerned about the decision of that, and really feel like it could have been done differently. And like I said, she didn't have to be a chief executive of anything after college. She didn't really have to have a full-time job there. She could have easily been on contractor, been a contractor, and did her thing, and do all that marketing and help with picking people in the missions. And so at the end of the day, I just really feel like the president should have really thought about backlash, as well as like, is that really the right decision culturally? She might have all the credentials and have all the qualifications, and we gotta, we accept that, but it's still a cultural thing. You gotta keep the culture within the culture.
I just want to make sure whoever intentions, just make sure your shit is pure and understanding where you're getting at. This is not like a regular job, bro. You're not at no San Diego State, no Cal, Berkeley, no, none of that.
Yeah.
You're at HBCU. This is a black space. This was invented intentionally to help black young men be better than what the opportunities that are presented to them outside of this. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not there for that, then pack your shit up now and get the fuck out of here. Because, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, if you're not for that, I don't really have nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? That shit, I just don't want it to piss me off. And I see a fucking new brochure when I'm saying for all students. I'm like, this is some all lives matter shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, here it comes. This is the start. This is the wave. This is the wave. And because it's just like, we don't have too many spaces here in America that are like for us to succeed purely off that. They're for us to be accepted and tolerated, and a quota and affirmative action hires and affirmative action acceptance. They're not for us to truly succeed from an outright, purely based off black excellence. You know what I'm saying? It's not too many spaces like that. There's spaces for us to be integrated, but still be the smallest percentage in the room. You know what I'm saying? There's spaces for, a few of you can make it. You know what I'm saying? There's not too many spaces where it's an overview or overhaul of black excellence. You know what I'm saying? That's what HBCUs are for. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing people who look like you, who talk like you, who are from certain, maybe different parts of the country, but we all have the same cultural and racial and ethnic relevance that, wow, we all trying to do something better with our lives. You feel me? And everybody looks like me. It gives you a sense of comfortability and a pride within yourself that, damn, we can do it. We can make it. Look at all these other people doing it, trying. If you ain't trying to invest in that, then that bitch could kiss my, I don't mean to call it that, but she could kiss my ass if that's not her purpose there.
Right. Like, you know, there's definitely a security and, you know, being comfortable when we see people like us and we feel within. So we want to leave it as much as like that as possible, because we don't feel like that at other college university, and there's way more PWIs than there are HBCUs. And like we were saying, and they don't even have the funding that like we've been to Edward Waters in Jacksonville, Florida, and like the theater is look like a regular elementary classroom with the ceiling peeling off. The goddamn dorms look like motherfucking prison cell when you got a room and shit. And it's like there's no windows, brick walls. It's
that's what we said, right? When we looked at this shit, we was like, bro, this is like county.
It's like the county. Like, nigga got my bunk and nigga got bunk beds and shit. Like, that shit was like the slums, and you got people telling us don't go there, and he got a tour guide that graduated from there. Gotta tell them, like, check them and shit, like, don't be doing that, because that's how bad it is. But they need people to go there so they could get that funding. They gotta reach a certain amount of students there to even get that funding, and they're not getting it because a lot of the PWIs are doing that and bringing them in. Just like I had just learned that they're doing something like some minority, I forgot what it's called, minority something, but our UCR is doing that, and a lot of PWIs are doing it. It's talking about their minority, but really they're taking away from HBCUs when they do that. So we don't need somebody outside of the culture being ahead of a HBCU and not, you know, keeping it historically black and keeping it black. So that's what people got to really take into consideration. And like I said, hopefully it's not a super bad thing where it really affects the culture and the whole like culture of the school, and change the whole just atmosphere of it. Like we said, that security, being comfortable, and seeing people who look like you, that's really something that's, being black is not the easiest to find, and for college wise.
Man, just keep our look, man. We just don't want our culture to be shunned and put under the back burner. That's it. We just want our culture to be. Our culture is American history, and that's how we want it. Like, we want to make sure we have that understood.
Yes, sir. And this is basically all we're saying. We ain't saying that, you know, once again, she's not qualifying. We're not saying don't allow any other races or ethnic groups in there. But we're saying, like, let's keep an eye on it. Let's make sure we're not losing focus on what this was built upon and what this was created for. So we're going to see from now and see what happens. And, you know, from now on, if they're going to actually make things be better or if things going to be worse, but we're going to have to really, like, we need to kind of stop that. So,
and we're not saying no races can't apply. Yeah, any race could apply for Morehouse College, but understand you're going to a black space when you do that.
We've been to a tour and we had 4 Hispanics with us going there, so we definitely understand that we don't have a big problem with that. It's all about the way you go about it and how you conduct it.
Because I ain't going to UCLA and say, man, this place needs to fit my. I understood if I applied to UCLA, this is what it's going to be. I understood if I applied to Cal Baptist, this is what it's going to be. I understood if I applied to LSU, Alabama, whatever. I was like, well, it's pretty much going to be this.
UC Berkeley, all that.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be this. But if I go to a Morehouse, if I wasn't like a black man, like I understand, okay, this is going to be a black space. I'm a non-traditional student. I have to assimilate to this culture in a way because this is what it is. I don't need to alter, you feel me? And this culture should help me be prosperous. Because you should, if you're applying to a historical black college, you're saying that the black community is going to offer me a chance of access to excel myself to something better in my life. So you believe in opportunities can be taken in the black space for anyone to open up and better themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're going there. You're not going there for them to adjust and assimilate and gentrify. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go with that mindset, please stay the fuck away from our schools.
Man, please do. That's like us going to an Ivy League and trying to change. You know, all them predominant politicians that went there that are white men and shit like that. We cannot change that culture, so they definitely don't need to change ours. And that's just what it is. We could go there. We could go there, so they could go to ours. A couple of them here and there, but you don't see a wide majority of people going to Stanford that are African American like that. You don't see a wide majority of people going to fucking what's the other one?
What? Yale, Princeton,
like
Columbia, Cambridge.
Nobody's not. You know, it's not saturated or overpopulated with black people. It's actually still very low. So at the end of the day, we just don't want, you know, we want the same type of respect that, you know, or not even respect, we want the same type of thing that they got going on. We're going to keep it. We can just keep it that way and just leave ours how it is, and y'all can leave y'all's how it is. And we just got to kind of try to break the mold if we're going to go to those, you know, to those PWIs and get degrees and just do what we got to do. And that vice versa shit, it goes for them.
Facts.